Should we watch the baseball video? Let's watch the baseball video. Perfect. Baseball doesn't exist. Gambling in baseball.
Dallas.
We're going to use, does pro sports have a gambling problem? Answer, probably yes. That's my off the rip answer. Let's find out. Does pro sports have a gambling problem?
Into 2024, MLB's worst nightmare happened. Their golden child was in an illegal gambling scandal, accused of betting on his own games, being investigated by the league, being investigated by the IRS, and even being investigated by the FBI concerning 4.5.
I gotta be honest with you, Shohei Ohtani is just built to be a star. Even the way he walks while being perp walked by the police. Looks like a fucking Chad, dude. You just can't help but root for him. This guy was never going down. This guy could have shot somebody in the middle of the street. And that baseball and the FBI and everyone would have found a way to make it not his fault. I swear to God, he is him.
Concerning $4.5 million in illegal sports betting wagers. While this was happening, the NBA had a similar issue. A bettor claimed to have $80,000.
6'4" and hot, two-tier justice system. I'm going to pause right there and tell you, this is not just a joke. It is a fact. They did a longitudinal, multi-decade study that more attractive people get like half the jail time for the same offense. Like on average, we were getting 4 years if they were ugly. They were getting 2 years if they were hot. Like legitimately a different justice system. They were getting half the penalty. They were getting smaller financial penalties. Yeah, it's crazy. They were way more likely than average to get the case dismissed or like given a fine instead of a jail time. It's insane. It's not even a joke. It's not even like a ha ha ha. The judge think it's like something about it. It's the halo effect where they think if you have a hot face, you have more positive associations, which is crazy. I will go in for life, I guess. Okay, bro. Cheer up, bro. Buck up. Come on, dude. Let's not. Hey, come on. What you need is a green Enron hat coming this May. Will turn your whole life around.
On a bet that relied on this player to get less than 4.5 rebounds in a game. On this play, the ball comes right to him. Instead of grabbing the ball, he taps it to his teammate. Moments later, he tells his coach he has an eye injury and leaves the game. Shortly after, the NBA announced he can no longer play, is being investigated, and is facing a permanent ban. Simultaneously, the NCAA...
Wow, bro. Bro gets some fucking dust in his eye, and all of a sudden, he's fucking locked up for throwing a game. What if he legitimately got an eye injury? What if the dude legitimately got some shit in his eye and now all of a sudden he's fucked? We'll never know, dude. Free my man.
NCAA announced they were investigating Temple basketball for suspicious betting activity. There have already been 12 NFL players suspended for breaking their gambling rules since sports betting became legal in 2018. And in 2022 alone, there were 1,212 matches flagged as suspicious, potentially being rigged or fixed for money. That is a 34% increase from the year prior. It was not long ago when all major sports leagues opposed legalized betting. In 2017, Roger Goodell said legal sports betting could compromise the integrity of the game. Former MLB Commissioner Bud Selig said it was, quote, evil, which...
It is funny that they all said this for decades, and then someone said, yeah, but you can make money off it. And then they went, oh. All right, well, fuck that then. I mean, it's crazy that they were so opposed to it until finally there was a way they could tie in with the fucking the gambling companies and print cash. LeBron betting against Lakers is so obvious, bro. I'm gonna fucking lose my mind. As a newly minted Lakers fan, I have to ride or die defend LeBron at all times. And I have to tell you, I'm getting real annoyed everyone blaming LeBron for this fucking loss to the Nuggets when he has been playing good. He's been playing good. It's not LeBron's fault. They're up right now. Good. Good. Let's go. As a Cavs fan, he'll leave you. He'll probably leave next year, bro. I'll be honest, he's going to go to wherever his fucking son gets signed if he can get his son signed. Superman does good. LeBron be playing well. All right, you're banned.
Creates doubt and destroys your sport. In fact, MLB was so paranoid about gambling when two of their most legendary players, Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays, agreed to do a meet and greet at a casino. They banned these players for life. But now sports betting is not only legal.
What? Major League Baseball banned two of the greatest players in history for agreeing to shake hands with people at a casino. Obviously must have been overturned. I would have heard about this before. Must have been overturned. But still insane. Oh, yeah, reversed it. Okay, yeah. That's insane. And now that's so funny. That's so funny because now if you watch it, there'll be a fucking DraftKings ad with Kevin Hart every fucking 30 seconds.
They banned these players for life. But now sports betting is not only legal, leagues support it and are making millions of dollars from it. For years, their biggest fear was that legal gambling would lead to match fixing, point shaving, and games being rigged. A scandal like this could break a sport, and in March, MLB looked like it could be facing worst case scenario. Shohei Ohtani had just gotten his first hit, his first steal, and was about to get his first win in a Dodgers uniform. He was in Korea as part of MLB's opening series, playing the first game of the 2024 season.
Oh, he's such a star.
Cameras caught him and his interpreter joking around in the dugout. Shohei and Ippei are best friends. They are never seen apart and regularly seen having fun in the dugout, so everything seemed normal. But less than 10 hours after this, news broke that Ohtani's attorneys were accusing Ippei of a, quote, massive theft. Minutes later, we learn Ippei has been fired by the Dodgers. Early reports from the LA Times say that Ohtani's attorneys discovered Ippei conducting a massive theft from Ohtani in order to pay off sports betting debts that he had with an illegal bookmaker. Before the baseball world could even make sense of this news, ESPN dropped their own article and made this story a lot more suspicious. ESPN reported that while investigating an illegal bookmaking operation in California, federal investigators had found that there had been multiple six-figure transfers from Shohei Ohtani's bank account to this illegal bookmaking operation, presumably to pay off gambling debt that totaled over.
Okay, I know that the FBI came in and said Ohtani had nothing to do with it and he's completely off the hook, but man, when you really lay it out, it seems so crazy that he knew nothing. It seems so suspicious to me that he knew it was all his friend.
$1 million. ESPN had interviewed Ippei a day before opening day. Ippei told ESPN that this was not a theft and that Ohtani had voluntarily paid off Ippei's gambling debt to help him out as a friend. Another spokesperson for Ohtani also told ESPN this version of the story, leading to a ton of questions. Why is Ohtani's team suddenly saying Ippei stole the money when the day before they had said Ohtani transferred the money voluntarily? Ohtani had known about this scandal before opening day. If it was truly a massive theft, you wouldn't think the two would act so friendly with each other the very next day. Nobody seemed to.
He probably thought it was a Netflix subscription or something. Hey, given the way these prices keep rising, not too far off, am I right? I look at my Disney Plus every year and it's closer and closer to $300,000. I can't fucking tell. Shit, I clicked ahead. I was cooking for a second.
A local bookmaking operation, presumably to. Why is Ohtani's team suddenly saying Ippei stole the money when the day before they had said Ohtani transferred the money voluntarily? Ohtani had known about this scandal before opening day. If it was truly a massive theft, you wouldn't think the two would act so friendly with each other the very next day. Nobody seemed to fully trust Ohtani's side of the story. People began speculating that he was actually the one doing the illegal betting and Ippei was just covering for him, or that Ohtani had known about Ippei's gambling debt and paid it off for him as a favor. This would be considered illegal in the eyes of the law and could lead to an MLB suspension, so Ohtani and his team now had to lie about it. And based on their relationship, this was very plausible. Shohei met Ippei Mizuhara over a decade ago. He was born in Japan but raised in California. After briefly interpreting for Japanese pitcher Hideki Okajima in America, he moved to Japan to interpret for the Nippon Ham Fighters. This just so happened to be Shohei Ohtani's rookie year. Ohtani's locker was right next to a foreign player's locker who had to use Ippei to translate, so naturally, Ippei and Shohei became friends. 5 years later, when Ohtani went to play for the Angels, it was only natural for him to hire Ippei as his full-time interpreter. However, Ippei became much more than that. When Ohtani first came to America, he arranged to have Ippei live in the same apartment as him. Ohtani had no license, so Ippei also became his personal.
These guys are too close of friends. It just doesn't make it just really requires a leap of faith that Shohei had no fucking idea that all of the money leaving his account.
Driver. He would buy groceries for Ohtani. The two ate breakfast together every single day before games. He trained with Ohtani, tracked his progress during workouts, and when Ohtani didn't have anyone to play catch with, he would do it with Ippei. Ippei was with Ohtani
This is a real bromance.
365 days a year, saying he spent more time with Ohtani than he did with his own wife. And when Ippei married his wife in 2018, Ohtani surprised them with a gift. He paid for the couple's entire honeymoon.
Entire fucking trip to Vegas to bet it all on red. What a hero. He paid for their entire parlay. That's awesome. And that's what a best man does, okay? Huge congrats. Huge congrats. Thank you, Shohei, for doing that. What a W.
Ohtani trusted Ippei so much that he was not just in charge of his on-field relationships, he became the middleman between Ohtani and his sponsors and even his friends. During the MLB lockout, team employees were not allowed to interact with players, so Ippei quit his job with the Angels just so he could continue helping Ohtani. When Ohtani was in the Home Run Derby in 2021, he had Ippei be his personal catcher. When he played for Team Japan in the WBC, he didn't need a translator around his Japanese teammates, yet he still had Ippei accompany him throughout the entire tournament. Ohtani's star power exploded. Since he was always next to him, so did Ippei's. He has over 400,000 Instagram followers and barely posts. When the Angels were introduced in 2023, Ippei, an interpreter, was not only introduced with the team.
Bro, this dude kind of fucked up the bag, I gotta be honest with you. Assuming, if it is true that he is the one who did all the gambling and stole his friend's money, insane bag fuck up. He is a dude that can speak Japanese and English. That is his entire qualifications, and apparently is a major chiller. A major chiller who can speak Japanese and English and just had a fucking everything set for him. He did have a generational interpreter. Yeah.
He got the second loudest ovation at the stadium, trailing only Ohtani. Ippei legitimately became one of the most recognizable faces in the league. His close relationship with Ohtani made it hard to believe that he would actually steal this much money from him and get away with it. They spent so much time together, it's hard to believe Ohtani would have no idea whatsoever about his gambling addiction.
Hard to believe.
Also, how would it even be possible to rack up $4.5 million in gambling debt if, according to Ippei, he only made around $500K a year interpreting for Ohtani?
Damn, only $500K a year. Bro gets to chill with celebrities, fly around the world, makes 500 racks a year. Damn, how did he survive? Of course he had to resort to gambling. Of course. Zero fucking expenses. Yeah. Huge perks.
To many, Ohtani had to have had some sort of involvement in e-paced gambling, and if this was the case, Ohtani was screwed. MLB and pretty much every major sports league has what is close to a zero tolerance policy when it comes to gambling. 4 years ago, a minor leaguer got caught betting on the Oakland Athletics. He is still suspended. He wasn't even a major league player, had no impact on the game, argues that since the minor league season was canceled at the time, he wasn't even a professional player, but still presumably is banned from baseball for life. All major sports leagues in America ban their players from betting on their own sports. However, in 2023, 3 NFL players got punished for betting on a sport other than football. NFL bans players from gambling on anything while in a team facility. So even though they made 100% legal bets since it happened at a team facility, they still got suspended. In the NCAA, players are banned from betting on any sport. In 2003, Rick Neuheisel, Washington's head football coach, entered a NCAA March Madness bracket pool with his friends who he played golf with. He was the football coach, and Washington wasn't even in the tournament. But after filling out a bracket, entering it, and winning a cash prize from his golf friends, the NCAA found out and threatened to suspend him. The university almost immediately fired him for his involvement. He later won a $4.7 million wrongful termination.
He actually binked the bracket and got the fucking bonus prize. Holy shit, what a bink! $4.7 million for his March Madness bracket? That's fucking incredible. What a dub! That is literally the American dream. Every American secretly wishes they could fill out a March Madness bracket, get fired from the job they hate, and then get a $4.7 million payout. He is literally living every, 98% of American males' dream. This is how most people plan to retire. What is March Madness? It's college basketball. College men's basketball.
Nation case, but this just shows how paranoid leagues are about any kind of sports betting, and it's all because of situations like this. Before this English Premier League game in 1997, a Malaysian crime syndicate went to the stadium, paid off a security guard, got access to the electrical system, and rigged the lights so that they could be turned off with a rigged remote whenever they wanted. They then bet millions of dollars that West Ham would at least tie Crystal Palace. At the beginning of the second half, Frank Lampard scored this clutch goal to tie the game at 2. The criminals pressed a button on the remote, the lights went off, no one could figure out how to get them back on, and since it was already the second half, the game ended in a 2-2 tie. The Malaysian criminals bet cashed, and they made millions of dollars.
That's such a Scooby-Doo ass fucking scheme, bro. Then what if they had just found the fucking breaker, ripped it out, and turned it on? Then they fucking score and you're fucked on millions? That's fucking stupid. Second of all, I feel like the bookie might have some fucking reasonable suspicion. Or if they had not tied the game. Damn, that just feels fucking crazy. If that was their only method.
Match fixing like this happens way more than you think. In 2013, FIFA estimated that organized crime was making as much as $15 billion a year by fixing matches. In a study done in Germany, they found that 1/3 of amateur soccer players have seen match fixing take place. In 2022 alone, there was a record 169 individual sanctions handed to people who got caught fixing matches, and that's just the people who got caught. This can legitimately destroy entire leagues. In the Chinese Professional Baseball League, the major leagues of Taiwan, there have been 64.
Can it? I mean, if you're telling me that 1/3 of fucking soccer matches that FIFA's aware of are corrupt, FIFA is already corrupt. There's a $15 billion match fixing industry. Soccer is still the biggest sport in the world. Hasn't done shit, bro. Hasn't stopped it. It's not like FIFA's a paragon of anti-corruption anyway. They're fucking corrupt as shit. Have you seen the Law League that there's 70% of their players banned? I didn't see that, but I do know that match fixing is pretty big in esports, especially at the lower level. Because there's no money in it. So the only money they can make is from match fixing. Yeah, match fixing in esports is pretty big. I do know there was a scandal of it in Korea where people got jail time. People got their banners taken down and burned. One of my favorite Brood War players of all time, Savior, he was considered one of the greatest of the game. One of the Bones was one of the Titans. He had his entire legacy torched, burned down, stripped from the history books because he match fixed. It's very sad. Near the end of his career, when he wasn't good anymore, he did like 2 match fixed games, and they took everything. M2K? I don't think M2K ever match fixed. I never heard about that. Music King and Melee? No, I don't think so. He would split the pot at the end of tournaments, but often it was other people bullying him into it. It would like be a tournament he was supposed to win, and then everyone didn't like him at the tournament, so they would bully him into splitting the pot with the local favorite. That's not really... That's like he would have won. Melee matchmaking is like $20. Yeah, that's true. And there were also all those tournaments back then were ran so poorly. It would be like 1 a.m. The tournament wasn't over yet, and so splitting the finals would often be like a. Dude, it's actually crazy because Mango was gonna come over to my house this weekend. We're gonna watch Shogun, but he decided he was gonna go to Pat's house, which is not a friend named Pat. Pat's house is the name of a tournament. So he's going to Pat's house, and he messaged me about how he couldn't go. And I checked the prize pool on Pat's house. He's playing for this, dude. I mean, it's nice, but like this is what he's literally going to fucking a tournament to play for the chance at $1,800. It doesn't even cover his rent. He's doing it for the game. I know. That's what I told him. I was like, dude's the GOAT. The dude is the GOAT because he could stream and make more than this. He absolutely, if he streamed in the time he spent this tournament, would make more than this. So he's literally doing it for the thrill of competition. When you broke, you broke, but he's not broke. Mango's not broke, bro. Mango has a successful stream, but you can always work and make more money than not working. That is an absolute misread in the situation. He does not consider this fun at all. This is more work. He's literally doing it for the glory. Saying he's doing this as a vacation or for fun is a complete misread of both Mango and going to Melee tournaments to compete. He does not want to go. He does it to keep other top players broke. He's not going to win, probably. Let me be real. If you don't follow Melee, I mean, I'm sure I'm rooting for him, but the odds are not in his favor that he's going to win this tournament. It'd be fucking sick if he did, though. Him or J-Mook, that'd be so sick. Maybe his interpreter has a gambling addiction, so he's trying to grind. Well, he speaks fluent English. So that would be unlikely, but it's possible. It's possible. Let's not rule it out. Let's not rule it out, chat. Joey. Yeah, it could be fucking lucky, dude. It could be lucky. It could be lucky. All right, continue this video.
Different players caught fixing games in only an 11-year span that ended in 2008. That year, the government investigated 102 illegal baseball betting cases involving 222 people. The situation was so bad, the league was pretty much bankrupt. The president of Taiwan got involved and had to pass a law that punished people involved in match fixing with up to 10 years in prison just to save the league. But for the most part, match fixing in America has been extremely rare. For decades, every major sports league in America was against legalized sports betting. Match fixing almost exclusively occurs when someone bribes a player or a ref to affect the outcome of the game. Since they know the outcome, they can make a bet on the outcome and basically make free money.
Right.
Sports leagues in America argued legalizing betting would create more temptation for players to throw games for money and create skepticism amongst fans who will start to believe the games were being fixed even when they weren't. But in 2018,
yes,
the leagues did a total 180. Legalized sports betting was up to individual states.
Those are good reasons. Those are all very true. And nothing has changed with regards to those. That's still a good reason. It's just funny to say all those things and be like, yep, yeah, oh, you're right. And then they go, well, but...
Leagues started lobbying for more states to legalize, and now the major sports leagues are making hundreds of...
Refs should have to allow the league to view their bank accounts. You just want to bully a ref, dude. You just want to look at a fucking ref's bank and just fucking bully him, dude. You just want to... Call him a brokey, dude. Refs have the most incentive and ability. Facts. Well, now players probably have more ability. I guess they both do. No, refs probably have the most ability. You're probably right. It depends on the sport, I guess. I'm thinking of basketball. And it depends on the player, too. Someone who's like a bench warmer is not going to have much ability. Refs don't get paid as much as the players. Yeah, they have more incentive, for sure. Yeah, refs have more incentive. But I'm wondering if they have more ability to affect the outcome of a game. Like, if a ref really wants one team to lose, I wonder how much they can do without making it so blatantly obvious that they get in trouble. That, like, somebody checks. Because they do a lot of already fucking borderline shit. Easier for a player to just brick. Yeah, I mean, I think if it's a star player, like they have... I think a star player has the most ability to throw a game. Because they're not going to be taken out easily. And they can basically dictate... how, like, they can, by reducing their effectiveness dramatically, make their team lose. But they have much less incentive. Because if you're a star player, you already make a fuck ton of money. And you winning is probably going to make you more money than throwing a game. So unless they have some dirt on you or something, that's they could do it. But outside of that, I think a ref probably can affect it more than an average player.
Of millions of dollars directly from sports betting. And just like they feared, this has led some fans to become skeptical of the integrity of the game. In January, DraftKings released data that said the winningest bet of the night was prop bets on Jonte Porter. They were predicting that Jonte Porter was going to have a player who splits time in the D-League. You'd expect there to be little to no money placed on his performance, yet these bettors were right. After only playing 4 minutes, Porter ended up leaving the game after aggravating an eye injury the team said he had hurt 4 days prior. Fans became skeptical. They dug up footage of him making this three and looking somewhat disappointed in a different game. People were theorizing that Porter was making bets that he would play bad, then purposely playing bad in order to make extra money. But this was just a conspiracy theory. Then, this was released. On March 20th, Jonte Porter prop bets were once again the winningest bet. Turns out, this betting volume in large part was due to one bettor who put $80,000 that Jonte Porter would get less than 8.5 points, less than 4.5 assists, less than 1.5 threes, less than 1 steal, less than 1 block, and less...
Or there is just a fucking generational Porter hater. Or he's just got somebody who fucking hates him, dude. Some dude who's got 80 grand and just fucking is a total op. And just wants to will into the universe that this guy's going to brick every night. That would be much funnier, but very unlikely.
Then 5.5 rebounds. That game, video shows him looking like he purposely misses this.
I mean, it is funny because if you really fucking hated a player, let's say you were like, you were good in high school or college or whatever, but not good enough to make it to the NBA, but your friend makes it to the NBA. And not your friend, your enemy makes it to the NBA, and you fucking hate him, and you hate his fucking guts. And he's not good, he's not a star, but he's like bottom level of the NBA, you know? Most of the time on the bench, comes out a little bit. You could make a massive fucking bet that he's going to play bad. Even publicize it, okay? And then if it gets to him and he plays bad, people will think he rigged it. People will think he's a match fixer. You could literally tank his reputation and get him kicked out of the fucking NBA. If you make a gigantic fucking bet on the under and they fucking just brick that night, all of a sudden there's like proof. That's the ultimate hater play. Now, if they fucking defy your odds and crush that night, you're just broke and they're in the NBA. But it's like your one shot. It's your one big chance to punt it all and fucking ruin them.
Rebound. Then almost immediately 95 violations.
I mean, it makes sense that the less money you can make from the league, from doing well in the league, the more incentive there is to fix it. Because you can make more money off gambling then. So, like the farther down the stack you go, the more gambling you're going to see.
Since legalization in 2018. This sounds terrible, but in reality, legalized sports betting might actually make match fixing less likely. But before we get to that, a quick word from today's sponsor. This video is brought to you by Fishing Clash. If your MLB...
I thought he was gonna do a DraftKings sponsor. I was like so ready for him to drop a because he was like, I was like, wait, what was that weird fucking line about how gambling might make it less likely? Match fixing less likely. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. And that's why today's sponsor is DraftKings. You know, has he done? I don't know if baseball doesn't exist has done DraftKings sponsorship. I know that Jimmy High Roller's done $1 million.
Team sucks, and you need to take a break to decompress from all the stress. Why don't the outdoor surprise in this XP the new claim world? I'm already everything, so now you.
This is a fucking fishing gotcha game. This is a fishing gotcha game. You can get the Amazon rod. What is the star count? 3, 6, 9. There's 12 stars randomly? Not even 10? There's a 12-star rating system? So now I have a 9-star Amazon rod? You just keep adding, it's power creep? So there's more shit to gamble for? Oh, I have a 7-star rod. I really want to fucking reroll for a 9. This is ridiculous. Wow. It used to be that only people who were susceptible to anime waifus were at risk of getting hooked in by fucking predatory gambling practices in games. But now it's people that like fishing. Now people that like fishing are getting hooked in? Like this?
Because now you can just do it from your phone. It is an insanely fun fishing simulator phone. When I downloaded this game, pumped to get the fish and custom world. I'm already trying fishing in each of these amazing locations all over the world. I'm already upgrading my equipment so I can catch bigger and bigger fish and customizing everything I can. In 2024, Fishing Clash has become an official sponsor of Major League Fishing. So now you can participate in the same events that
fucking rigged, dude. Rigged.
Professional anglers compete in and win in-game rewards. So please help support the channel by downloading Fishing Clash. Corner of your screen, $20 value reward, including a unique DE. Right corner of your screen, go to gift codes and enter code BDE to get a special $20.
You can get a Florida Coast dolphin fish, mythical, level 1. Holy fuck! How can you pass up on this opportunity, dude? It's the Florida Coast dolphin fish. Why does it have 100 HP out of 2? What does this mean? Human brains are so fucking cooked. All of these games have figured out that the average human brain is so fucking riddled with holes like Swiss cheese. It just needs fucking bright colors, something they like, and a number going up. Just any fucking hobby is going to be turned into a gacha game at some point.
Would think legalized betting would create more betting and more opportunities for match fixing, but the leagues don't see it that way. Since 2018, leagues have begun paying tens of millions of dollars to companies like these. They're essentially surveillance services whose job it is to spy on players, analyze betting lines, track betting activity, and find and report anything suspicious. When signing up for a legal betting account, your identity has to be verified. If you're a professional athlete betting on a sport you play, they're going to know immediately. If you use a friend's account to bet, but make those bets in your home or in the arena you play in, they also have a tracking system that knows your location within a 3 feet radius and are gonna know immediately if they find suspicious betting activity on a specific player.
Me handshaking LeBron at a fan meet and greet while secretly betting on the Lakers to lose. From my phone within a 3 feet radius. Trying to get him fucking... Oh, got you now, Mr. James.
They can track who and where the bets were made. If this lines up with areas that specific player frequents, they are likely involved and will get caught. Betting lines are constantly changing based on how much money is being wagered on certain outcomes. Using AI services, these companies track every single betting line on Earth and about 16.5 million bets a day. They compare the betting line movement to the historic data and flag the lines that are moving in suspicious ways. If people start randomly wagering hundreds of thousands of dollars on a bet like Jonte Porter unders, the system is gonna instantly flag it as suspicious. Before legalized betting, Porter would have had to make these bets through an illegal bookmaking operation. These systems wouldn't be able to trace it and would make it easier to get away with. Sports Radar Integrity Services, who does this for multiple sports leagues, found over 1,200 suspicious matches in 2022 alone. This is a 34% increase.
So, this argument sounds good on the surface because their ability to track it does increase their likelihood of catching it. However, when you go from like a very few shady, small underground gambling things that are like hard to track to a massive global gambling industry, it's like a 10,000x scale multiplier. So that the raw number of attempts is so much higher that even if you can catch more of them, you're still having way more of a problem. It doesn't reduce the problem in any way. It's like, that's not, that's just how scale works. But I can see what they're saying.
Increase than the year before,
Right,
but it's
same with the
hard
4
to know
months.
exactly why. Legalized betting made sports betting more popular. More people betting on sports means more potential match fixers. But legalized betting also makes betting more traceable. According to these services, the increase in suspicious matches is solely based on how much better their systems have become in catching people. With these systems in place, in order for someone to bet on a game they could influence, they'd have to go through an illegal bookmaker, which is still possible, but it's always been possible. And as legalized betting keeps getting bigger, it makes sense that the demand for illegal bookies will continue to decrease, making them rarer and rarer. Players, coaches, or refs could tell a friend to make a bet that Team A was going to lose. Then in the game, make sure Team A loses and win money. However, for athletes in America who are millionaires, in order for it to be worth it, they'd have to bet a ridiculous amount of money on this outcome. Any bet of this size, without a doubt, would cause suspicion and be
Yeah, but
investigated.
again, I don't think
athletes who don't get paid
millionaire
high
athletes are doing
salaries are almost always the ones who end up fixing matches, and that's why betting could become a massive issue for college sports. In fact, it always has been. On average, the NCAA has had a verified match fixing / point shaving incident once every 7 years, and it's usually situations like this. Running back Dennis Lundy was Northwestern's all-time leading rusher. In a game against Iowa, he put a $400 wager that his team would lose by more than 6 points. Iowa was dominating, but after a turnover, Northwestern had the ball on the goal line. A touchdown here would make this a 2-possession game. It also would have made Lundy the all-time leader in touchdowns for Northwestern, but instead of risking the bet, he fumbled the ball on purpose. Lundy's team, suspicious of his actions, turned him in. Turns out he did this multiple times, and due to his involvement,
tossed away a chance at a record for $400.
and lying about it, he ended up having to serve a 1-month sentence in prison. And all of this was caused by only a $400 bet. To my knowledge, the most a college athlete has gotten paid to fix a game happened at Arizona State when a player got paid $20,000.
I had some extra league money and I wanted to double it. I don't want to be shamed for this. It's been a long time. It was I had grinded up people to gold, and I was sick of grinding league, and I wanted to make some money. So yeah, I found a player. It's in the past.
To ensure his team wouldn't cover the spread. In all likelihood, $20,000 couldn't convince an NBA player to throw a game, but college players have done it for a lot less. A Toledo player accepted $900 to shave points. A San Diego State player made around $1,000 a game to do the same thing, and one player even got caught accepting groceries as part of a payment to manipulate a game. If someone is betting millions, it's easy for the surveillance companies to catch them. But if someone bets $100 on themselves to lose, that's a lot harder to track, which is why the NCAA is already trying to ban prop bets for college games. Instead of betting on a team to win or lose, prop bets allow you to bet on an individual player to score more or less than X amount of points, get more or less than X amount of strikeouts, rush for more or less than X amount of yards, etc. Almost any starting running back in the country could just get a friend to bet $100 that they will get less than X amount of yards, then leave the game in the second half with a fake injury and make $100. Tens of billions of dollars is bet on college sports every year, so a $100 bet can fall through the cracks, but it's still risky. The NCAA invests millions into surveillance to find suspicious activity, and this past season, they might have found their next scandal. On February 8th, Temple was a 6.5-point underdog versus Memphis when all of a sudden, so many people bet on them to lose, they became a 10.5-point underdog in only 4 hours. The same exact thing happened 3 weeks later after a ton of money was bet on the under. 4 days later, it happened again. Then, in their last game of the season, they were a 2.5-point underdog. When so much money was wagered on them to lose, they became an 8-point underdog. In all 4 cases, so much money was placed on a specific outcome, it dramatically changed the betting line. And in all 4 cases, the people who caused the betting line to change were correct. The NCAA has since opened up an investigation because someone being this confident on an outcome historically is caused by one of these scenarios. Either several players or a single notable player who plays enough to impact the final score bet his team to perform poorly, then purposely performed poorly. Someone inside the program knew a star player was injured and wouldn't play, then sold that information to a bettor who bet the team would lose before the bookmakers could adjust the line accordingly. Or somebody within the organization racked up an insane amount of gambling debt with an illegal bookmaker. Unable to pay off the debt, the bookmaker tells them they will forgive the debt, but only if they lose a game on purpose. The bookmaker ends up making even more money betting on the outcome, and the person in debt.
I guess that is a rationale for why players shouldn't be allowed to gamble on other games. Like, I've always wondered why should you care if a football player bets on basketball? But I guess, like, if they bet a lot, there's a chance they could be in debt to a bookie, and then it would lead to influence over them. They could be blackmailed. There's a risk there for sure.
Debt can walk away without paying. This last scenario historically has been one of the most common ways match fixing takes place, and it's why professional sports have always shied away and punished players for any type of illegal betting, even if it wasn't on sports. It's also why it looked like the relationship between Ippei Mizuhara and Shohei Ohtani could bring down the entire sport. While working with Ohtani, Ippei developed a crippling gambling addiction. According to a federal complaint, Ippei made around 19,000 bets, gambling as much as 160 grand on a single wager. During this time, he won $142 million, but also lost $180 million, meaning he was $40 million in gambling debt. And all of this took place in just a span of a little over 2 years. Ippei made less.
Jesus Christ. In 2 years? Swings of fucking $300 million? That's fucking crazy.
Than $1 million a year. So how is it even possible to bet enough money to get that much debt? If he did it legally, it wouldn't be possible. Regulated betting in the United States forbids sportsbooks from taking bets on credit. This prevents addicts from racking up debt they can't afford to pay off. But sports betting is illegal.
Don't worry, my chat just says they'll take out fucking Klarna. They'll get a credit card, pay it off with Klarna, and then put that into their fucking DraftKings account. Don't worry. You don't allow credit, they'll find a way.
In California, so Ippei was forced to go through an illegal bookmaker. Knowing Ippei was so close to a multi-millionaire athlete, the bookmaker likely let him rack up a debt, knowing he couldn't afford it because at the end of the day, he knew Ohtani could pay it off for him. There was only a few logical ways Ippei could ever afford to pay off this massive debt. Either have Ohtani pay it off, or even worse, have Ohtani fix a game in exchange for debt forgiveness. Both of these scenarios are illegal, so Ohtani had no choice but to make a statement. On March 25th, 5 days after the news first came out, Ohtani sat down with a new interpreter and for the first time addressed the media, saying...
He's just reading. Man, the meetings they must have had to get this shit hashed out. Just sit down, read this statement exactly verbatim. Do not change a word. And we're going to have the translator say it. Translator's also a lawyer.
Ippei had stolen money from him and, quote, told lies. Made it clear that he never bet on baseball, never bet on any sport, and never asked anyone to place a bet for him. According to Shohei, basically everyone around him had learned about the scandal before he knew about it. The press was trying to contact him about the payments from his account, but could only ask him about it through Ippei. Ippei, not wanting Ohtani to find out, just lied to the press and never told Ohtani. Ohtani's management also found out. Obviously concerned, they also tried to ask Ohtani about it, but also could only do it through Ippei. Ippei told his management that Ohtani had paid off the debt for him. Trusting Ippei, they went to ESPN and told them that Ohtani had never gambled but did agree to pay off the debt to help out his friend in need. Knowing the report was due to come out the next day, Ippei agreed to address the Dodgers after opening day. At this time, Ohtani still had no idea about the scandal.
I mean, that doesn't really track for me. because there's there's not only one bilingual guy in all of LA. And also, like, if you're accusing, if you're like, hey, Shohei, Ippei has been taking a bunch of money from your account. What do you think about that? You're not going to go through Ippei. That's that question. I don't believe that his management team was like, Ippei, can you translate that for us? I do not believe they're like, hey, can you ask him what Ippei did with your money? Translate that. They will find somebody else. There's just no world where these highly paid agents and managers were like, let's ask through Ippei. I don't know if he was betting for Ohtani, but I do think his original story made more sense, where he placed a bunch of bets. Ohtani did know about it and then agreed to cover for his. I mean, that at the very least, it just sounds so unlikely to me that Shohei Ohtani had no idea that his friend was in this fucking crippling gambling debt with his money for years, and he just completely blanked on it. They hook together every day. It just seems crazy to me. But also, I don't think he should be fucking whatever. I mean, whatever.
Ippei told the Dodgers clubhouse about his addiction, said an article was about to come out, that it was all his fault, and apologized. And this is when Ohtani first realized something was up. Knowing he never paid off the debt himself, he and his managers discovered Ippei had stolen the money. They made this info public and changed their original story. Ippei was fired, MLB and the FBI investigated, and Shohei cooperated, handed over his phone and any relevant information. 3 weeks later, the federal government released a complaint that as of now seems to be the actual story. According to this affidavit, Ippei racked up a debt of $40 million. At one point, the bookmaker seemed worried Ippei wasn't going to pay, then allegedly tracked down Ohtani walking his dog, then texted Ippei, quote, I don't know why you're not returning my calls. I'm here in Newport Beach and I see Ohtani walking his dog. I'm just gonna go up and talk to him. When Ohtani moved to America, Ippei was the one who helped him open up his first bank account. With this information...
So you can just go fucking to Newport Beach and see Ohtani walking his dog? I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I'm gonna get Maya. I'll walk my dog out there. Well, I'll make friends with him. I'll talk to him about how much I hate sports gambling, bro. That'll be great. We'll be best bros. I speak a little Japanese. Arigato. There we go. I can be his translator. He doesn't have an interpreter anymore. I don't need an interpreter, bro. I watch Shogun, okay? I'm a bit of a Hatamoto myself.
To go up and talk to him. When Ohtani moved to America, Ippei was the one who helped him open up his first bank account. With this information, he began calling the bank, pretending to be Shohei, and stole the money directly from Shohei's account himself. Ohtani had financial advisors, but they didn't speak Japanese. They could only talk to Shohei through Ippei. So Ippei lied, told the advisors Ohtani denied them access to the account to prevent anyone else from seeing how much money was missing. In total, Ippei allegedly took around $16 million from Ohtani's accounts. When the reports of the gambling came out, Ippei texted the bookmaker asking if he'd seen it. The bookmaker said, quote, yes, but that's all bullshit. Obviously, you didn't steal from him. I understand it's a cover job. Ippei responded by saying, quote, technically, I did steal from him. It's all over for me. Ippei has since turned himself into authorities, was arrested, and if convicted, will be facing up to 30 years in prison. A friendly reminder that today's video was brought to you by Fishing Class. Use the link in the description or scan this QR code and use...
Dude, what a fucking tone shift. He could be facing 30 years in prison. But if you think of life as a prison, then you can escape by getting on the open seas of Fishing Clash. Catch yourself a big mouth bass and let it all drift away. By the way, if you gamble on this fucking box, you can win a fucking 5-star trout.
My special gift code.
Sorry, no, a 12-star trout. A 5-star trout is trash.
To get a special $20 value reward.
Wow. Insane. Truly insane, but great video.